Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over our next minor winter storm, which is going to be moving throughout parts of the Central Plains and then back through into the Great Lakes and the Northeast. This will be a quick 1 to 4 inches of snow, and then a couple areas could get maybe close to 5 or 6 inches in some isolated locations. At the end of the video we're going to be going over those very cold temperatures over the northern United States. Some of those areas are dealing with wind chills that are below -40 or even -50 degrees in some cases. So we're also going to be talking about those cold temperatures at the end of today's video. So here's what the current watches and warnings are from the National Weather Service. We have those wind chill warnings in effect for parts of northeastern Montana, northern North Dakota, northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and the western UP of Michigan, as well as for parts of Iowa and northwestern Illinois. We have some winter weather advisories for parts of Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, and into Iowa, and then a few more up through parts of Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, even a little bit in Colorado, as well as back through Oregon and Washington. And in those pinks, that's where you have those winter storm warnings up for the Rockies. We also have a bigger area of winter storm warnings that goes from parts of southeastern Massachusetts all the way down to northern Georgia and eastern Tennessee there. So we are dealing with that winter storm moving throughout parts of the eastern United States. It's going to dump closer to 6 inches of snowfall in some of these areas. Winter weather advisories are on either side of that, to the east and also to the west of those winter storm warnings. And yesterday we had a high for the entire country of 88 degrees in North Palm Beach, Florida. And your low temperature for the second day in a row was in Bottineau, North Dakota. They got to -33 degrees. That was the actual temperatures. Wind chills were much lower than that. The highest precipitation report yesterday was from 7 miles west of Pickard, Missouri, in northern Missouri. They got 3.5 inches of rainfall approximately, and the highest snowfall report yesterday was 4 miles southeast of Mount Zirkle, Colorado, and north central Colorado. They got 34.5 inches of snowfall yesterday. So definitely a lot of snow, a lot of cold air, and even a lot of rain in some of these areas. So let's start talking about this snowstorm. Again, it's going to be a minor one. It's going to be a quick 1 to 4 inches of snow over a lot of these areas. Definitely, most likely not a major snowstorm. It's going to be kind of like this one we're dealing with right now in terms of the impacts. It will have some decent impacts, mainly because this is going to be happening between Monday and Wednesday. So you will have some commuting issues. Although it is going to be, again, more of a lighter snowfall. It will be a bit of a wetter snowfall because temperatures will be marginal, so you will have to deal with a little bit more wet, compact snowfall, so that might also add to some of those issues. This would be by tomorrow night, right around 3 p.m. Central Time. We're looking at more of that lighter snow moving throughout parts of the lower Great Lakes. And as we continue this forward, here would be by 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, that snow's moving into the Ohio Valley. We have more of that lighter, moderate snowfall at times over some of these areas. Again, 1 to 3 inches of snowfall, and most of the snow bands will be quite light. We're not dealing with any 2-3 inch per hour bands with this storm. It will be a lighter event, more of a nuisance event over a lot of these areas. It might strengthen, though, as it heads into the northeast, and that's when you might be able to put down a couple more inches of snowfall. So this would be by Tuesday, right around midnight, or midnight on Monday, going into early Tuesday morning. So this would be 12 a.m. Central Time, 1 a.m. Eastern Time. On Tuesday, we're dealing with more of that snow, lighter to moderate, moving throughout parts of anywhere from Missouri and Iowa eastward to about western Pennsylvania and western New York, with potentially some rain and scattered showers on the southern end of that. We are going to most likely have some ice along that boundary line, although it will be light ice. Light ice can still cause some issues on the roadways, and ice in a lot of cases can actually be a lot more dangerous than the snow. So you do want to watch out for that. Some light ice accumulation or sleet accumulation over southern Ohio, southern Indiana, northernmost Kentucky, maybe even into southern Missouri or even northern Arkansas. That's where we could be dealing with some minor ice accumulation issues. Here would be by Tuesday, right around 6 in the morning Central Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. That system is now starting to head into areas like New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, getting into the very light snow by this point, and then the heavier snow starts to move in, and we're dealing with lighter to moderate snowfall back through much of the Northeast. We will have that 32-degree line hanging somewhere right around here. So while this is going on, your temperatures are going to be right around 30 degrees for a lot of these areas. So especially if you live right within this area, this is where you're going to be dealing with fairly heavy snowfall. It's not going to be that fluffy just because of the temperature profiles, so it will be definitely a harder snow to shovel. The only upside to that is that, again, we're not dealing with maybe 12 inches of heavy snow. It's going to be more of a 2 to 4 inch event for a lot of these regions. Snow for or rain further to the south, and then as we zoom into the Northeast, we're dealing with snow and fairly decent snow moving into parts of Vermont and New Hampshire by this point. Here to be by Tuesday, right around 7 p.m. We're dealing with now some banding setting up, because now this low pressure is offshore. It's south of Long Island by this point, and I do want to watch out for this system because it does have the potential to, if this moves a little bit further south, if we get a little bit more cold air to press in, we could see a shift to the south with this, and more of that snow could, of course, shift further to the south. So I will be monitoring this. If I do need to update this video, I will probably upload on it tomorrow and make an update on this, because we've seen how quickly the models can shift overnight. As you get into this band of snow right here, this is where you're looking at half an inch per hour to an inch per hour. So you're getting into some of those decent snowfall rates as you get into that shade of blue right there. And as we continue this forward, you continue to see that system pull away further to the east. Again, because it is offshore, it will be able to start to develop a little bit more and kind of wind up a little bit. So you will start to see a little bit more banding as you get into New England. Most of those bands will be closer to half an inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch or even an inch per hour at some times. This would be by Wednesday, right around 1 in the morning Eastern time, and we're looking at this mainly only impacting parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine by this point, and it starts to taper off in Maine. By Wednesday morning, you might still have a few snow showers into northern New England, and now we're seeing our next system, which is going to be kind of the next big storm, and the next one that has the bigger potential that we're going to talk about in later videos, because again, it is too early for us to really discuss that. There is still so much that can change with that. If this forecast doesn't change too much, then tomorrow's video will likely actually be about that system. So here's the snowfall totals, and something that you have to keep in mind, this is including the one that's going on right now. So these amounts, you could pretty much chop off all the ones that are in the mid-Atlantic. These areas are most likely not going to see any snowfall from this, so really the only area that will be seeing snowfall is these areas right here. So anywhere north and west of this, you're dealing with some snowfall. You might want to shave off a couple inches if you live in New England, because that's added on to what you're already seeing today with that snowstorm. So we're looking at a general 2 to 4 inch accumulation over the Northeast. If we look at, that's the European model, which we just looked at for the future radar, and then here would be the GFS model. It's going with the same general idea of 2 to 3, maybe 4 inches in a few spots, and that's added on to what's already happening with this system. So most of those amounts will be 2 or 3 inches of snowfall. You also do have a scattered 1 to 2 inches back through the Ohio Valley and into the lower Great Lakes. And then here would be what the Icon model is showing, which has actually been quite accurate and actually performed quite well this winter so far, and it has a band of 2+ inches over parts of the Ohio Valley, and then it has an extra 2 to 4 inches back through into the interior Northeast. And here would be another model, the UK Met model, which is the one from Great Britain. They have about 2 to 4 inches as well. So it's a general 2 to 4 inches into the Northeast, 1 to 3 inches back through the Ohio Valley. Again, it's not going to be a huge system. It might cause some travel disturbances, because you will be dealing with it during the snow coming during the rush hour on Tuesday mainly, and into Monday as well. So this might cause a bit of issues on the roadways. So hopefully the plows are able to get out there quickly and kind of scrape away all that snow off the roadway, so we don't get too many issues on the roads. So let's start talking about that very cold air, which is going to be moving throughout the United States over the next week, and probably over the next couple of weeks, because it doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. Your polar vortex has migrated from north of Greenland to over southern Canada. So it has definitely made its way fairly far to the south. That's pretty much the heart of the polar vortex, index, and that's inching its way down into parts of the northern plains. And here are your low temperatures for tomorrow morning. We're looking at anywhere in those pinks. That's between negative 25 and negative 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Actual temperatures, wind chills will be probably closer to negative 50 degrees over these areas. So it's going to feel a lot colder than what you're seeing on this map right here. We're dealing with this whole area that's kind of in this teal green color that's below zero right here. So anywhere within that color or north of there is where you're dealing with below zero temperatures, and that encompasses a lot of the northern plains back through the Great Lakes, even a little bit of the northeast there, where you're below zero, and in a lot of areas you're double digits below zero. That would be for Monday. So here's by Tuesday, here's by Wednesday, and a lot of these areas are still below zero for your low temperatures. If not, you're in the single digits for a lot of these areas. It does start to warm up near the middle of the week as we get that system to start to roll through into the eastern United States. The track of that storm still uncertain, but that will warm it up a little bit for Thursday and potentially still into Friday. By Friday and into Saturday, I think you do get more of that cold air to rush in on the back end of this. So now we have more of that cold air back through into areas like Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas, back through Minnesota, and back through into Wisconsin and Michigan by this point. And as we continue this forward, now that's starting to seep further south. Now parts of Nebraska, Iowa, and even a little bit of the lower peninsula of Michigan are getting closer to those lower single digits, even below zero. This would be by Sunday, and that's kind of your 7-day outlook. After we get past the 7-day time frame, some of those temperature maps do get a little bit inaccurate. So here's what the Climate Prediction Center is showing for the chances that you're going to be below normal. Usually the deeper shades of blue or orange or red, depending on if you're above or below average, correspond with how cold it will be. So those deeper shades of blue, which I haven't seen this in quite a while, they rarely put this out, but they have a 90% chance or greater of seeing below normal conditions over Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, and into southern Minnesota there, where you have over a 90% chance. Much of the nation is under some sort of below average chance, except for a little bit of the southwest and extreme southern Florida. But other than that, we don't have, for the next 6 to 10 days from Friday to Tuesday of next week, we have a lot of the country below normal. And then here would be that 8 to 14 day outlook from the 14th, which would be this upcoming Sunday, to Saturday of next week. And we're looking at more of those below average chances for much of the eastern United States still. And they rarely, again, in their 8 to 14 day outlook, have over a 70% chance, which they have right here. So for this wide swath, they really rarely do that. So that means that they really have confidence that this is going to be a very cold week and a very upcoming cold pattern. Now, here's that 3 to 4 week outlook, and they even have below average for that. And this goes from February 20th to March 5th, and into the early part of spring, we might be dealing with still those below average chances, although it is looking like it might warm up a little bit for more of those southern states, according to the Climate Prediction Center by that time frame. Now, here's your chance of hazardous temperatures and hazardous below normal temperatures, and you see they have a high chance for the entire central part of the country for the most part. They have a moderate chance for pretty much everywhere east of the Rockies, excluding the coastal southeast and into portions of New England. So for pretty much the entire central and eastern United States, with a few exceptions, you're at least in a moderate risk of hazardous temperatures in terms of how cold they will be. And there's a slight risk for everywhere excluding parts of the southwest and for southern Florida. So pretty much the entire nation has some chance of hazardous cold conditions. And we're already dealing with the risk of heavy snow according to this. And this is their experimental forecast. This is from the 13th to the 19th. And actually the storm is for the 13th to the 16th. They're already eyeing up another system, including the other 3 or 4 that's coming before these, for this area from northern Alabama, northern Georgia, northeastward into southern New England. How true this is, we still have to figure out, but there's at least a pattern. We have active conditions. Every couple of days there's another snowstorm, and it's definitely very busy for me because I'm making videos on all of these, but there is definitely no shortage of snow or cold over the United States. We're in a very active pattern, and it's definitely pretty much the complete opposite of what we saw last year, where it was pretty mild for a lot of areas. We had very dry conditions for a lot of areas. We're dealing with the complete opposite this February, and it looks like we're definitely getting into the winter mode, and we're definitely starting to look a lot more like winter over a lot of areas. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.